recently featured this dress on my channel and talked about its fit and its style, but it spurred mostly a lot of talk about whether Meghan Markle actually carried her children or used a surrogate. Hey everybody, today's video we are going to dive into some of the most popular comments that were left about the Sussex baby scam, aka Meghan using surrogacy or being pregnant, that were left on a recent video of mine. We had hundreds of comments about this subject, so we are going to dive into those. It matters to people because the kids are in the line of succession and because they are titled as prince and princess. There are laws about this and it is a whole issue, but also the fact that people may have been deceived is really rubbing people the wrong way, which I completely understand given the position that Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, and these children are in. It makes sense. It's reasonable. Now, is it fair to the kids for people who have a platform to make some sort of solid opinion? I find that a little questionable. So I'm going to keep my definitive personal opinion to the side and just present some facts to you guys. A lot of people point to the postpartum appearance of Meghan Markle as an indicator that she really did carry her children. Now, this is something that anybody who's had a baby, who has birthed a baby, who's been pregnant knows. You get puffy. You get real puffed up. Your inflammatory responses are in overdrive. You are lacking a lot of sleep. You are retaining a lot of water and you do swell. You have a lot of puffiness in your face and you just look kind of squishy or fluffy for a few days or weeks or even months after having your baby. It's a little different for everybody and depends on a lot of factors. But there is one thing that is absolutely 1000% consistent, and that is post-delivery puffiness in the mama, at least for a few days. So people point to the introduction of Archie as a moment where they see Meghan Markle puffy and swollen looking and say, that looks like somebody who did just have a baby, which I agree with. I totally get that. However, there is something called induced lactation, and I'm going to just read from this medical perspective for you. Factual, facts. New parents who did not carry their child must undergo a process of induced lactation, which is the production of breast milk that's triggered by a complex interaction of several hormones, including estrogen, progesterone, human placental lactogen, prolactin, and oxytocin. These hormones are instrumental in growing and developing the breast tissue during pregnancy. Upon delivery of the baby and placenta, estrogen, progesterone, and HPL levels drastically drop, which in the presence of high prolactin levels stimulates milk production. And then, of course, actively working with your baby to breastfeed seals the deal and lactation begins for moms who deliver their baby. So if this process is replicated successfully through a careful balance of those hormones and actively attempting to breastfeed and practicing breastfeeding with a newborn baby born by a surrogate, a mother who did not deliver their babies can successfully breastfeed. So essentially, if you are somebody who is having a baby via surrogate and you want to be able to breastfeed your baby, once that pregnancy is past that first trimester, typically from what I have heard, the mom who's not carrying their baby would start these types of hormones to begin to prime their body and sort of mimic a pregnancy that is being carried elsewhere. And then about 8 weeks prior to delivery, one would stop the supplements and start pumping with a hospital-grade breast pump. These devices mimic the suckling of a baby and stimulate the production of prolactin. And then once the baby is born, even if breastfeedings are accomplished successfully, pumping after each feed is still encouraged because you would be at greater risk of low supply or early termination of breastfeeding because you didn't actually have that natural buildup of hormones. So they recommend you take some extra precautions to keep your supply up. Obviously, all of those hormones would cause similar types of swelling that we saw happening with Meghan Markle. But so can a pregnancy because it's literally mimicking a pregnancy in and of itself. So that doesn't prove or disprove anything. It's just showing the fact that there are options out there of what could be true in this situation specifically. This woman says that she won't fess up to surrogacy because her kids wouldn't be able to be in the line of succession. The baby must be born of the body, and that's the only reason that there wasn't a hospital birth like everyone else. It has to be authenticated by officials. So true. That's what I'm saying. There are actual laws. So it completely makes sense why people actually care about this. Their children would not have been in the line of succession as surrogacy is forbidden. Heirs must be born of the body. They would not have been able to inherit Harry's titles. This woman says, how do you get someone to commit to you because you are pregnant and then later admit to the world that you can't get pregnant? It makes sense. You know, there are a lot of factors here. These issues are complex. The web that has been weaved is intense. So yeah, it's not as simple as just being like, oh, I can't get pregnant if she already had lied about that. So then that would make sense as to why maybe Harry went along with hiding it for whatever reason, or perhaps she just talked about wanting her privacy and that convinced him to lie to his family. I don't know. I have always said that like Harry seems to not grasp how extraordinary his family is and what an extraordinary place they have in our world and in their country and the Commonwealth. Can't just do whatever they want the way other people can. And yes, there's downsides to that, but there's also this huge importance. And another reaction a lot of people had was, how could she pull that off without Harry knowing or something of that nature? Obviously, Harry would have been in on it. Now, Harry and Meghan both keeping it secret from the palace, the rest of the family, the king, the queen, Prince William, all of them, there is potential for that to be true. I think that they could have attempted to pull off having a surrogacy. I mean, she did have her doctors be private doctors, separate from the palace doctors. Everybody talks about the birth announcements not having any palace doctors or witnesses to it. And of course, their behavior was a little bit odd during those times. And they were extremely protective of their privacy, especially during that time. In some cases, a little bit overzealous about it, even a little bit overboard in their reactions towards these types of things. So yeah, I mean, maybe they had a surrogate and were keeping it private from the rest of the royal family so that their kids could still be titled and in the line of succession, because some people would believe that's really important to Meghan. It could have been important to both of them. Who knows? But obviously also there is potential that she did carry the children. And as I've said before, she tends to look kind of awkward. Her body language and her physical stature, the way she carries herself, the way she sounds, the way she talks, her laugh, it all says to me somebody who is very, very awkward and a bit insecure. Maybe only confident and not awkward in certain situations, maybe one-on-one type situations, she's a little bit better. There's a lot of people like that. And, you know, it's not necessarily a nefarious thing, but sometimes it's indicative of some issues. We're not going to get into that in this video, but I don't think there is any truth that the palace or anybody else in the royal family was in on some sort of hiding the surrogacy and lying to the public. I do not think they would do that or risk that or be down with that, because why? Being somebody who has a surrogate carry your child, especially at the age that she was, maybe would have been something really well received by a lot of the public, something that a lot of people would point to as an inspiration, reassurance of normalizing the process. And bringing a baby into the world is an absolutely beautiful, extraordinary thing. There is nothing more amazing than having kids. It is the light of my life. So at the end of the day, I don't think that the palace would have gone in on some sort of giant surrogacy lie and hiding and covering it up, because it would have been a positive thing ultimately to publicize in some way or to just be honest about. And that's the normal thing to do. But I do think that there is a likelihood that either she just carried the kids and is extraordinarily awkward in her mannerisms. Also, of course, being on camera, having different camera angles every single time you're being photographed, plus you're in a different outfit every time, there is a likelihood that you will look a lot different even though nothing's changed. I wholeheartedly agree though that things look suspicious, that things look super strange and not normal to me. They didn't look super normal to me then, and they don't look super normal to me now looking back on it. I did see a official announcement from, I think it was from Canada, some official statement maybe? I don't remember. You guys help me out in the comments. That said they welcomed a baby boy via surrogacy, and it was immediately taken down. And I remember reading that in real time when that was announced, and then it was gone. And then there was this announcement and everybody was like, oh, that was a mistake. We're not talking about that, blah, just a mistake. And, you know, the puffiness, again, it could be because she really did carry her kids, or it could be because she was doing hormones to induce lactation. So who knows? We won't know the truth unless it comes out. I will also say, though, that if it were me, as I've said before, I would completely just be honest about it, because it's not fair for your kids. A lot of people had a really, really good point, and that was that Harry talked endlessly about how horribly traumatizing it was for him to have rumors about his origins and who his father was or how he came to be. And that was really painful for him growing up. And press speculation and public speculation about his life in general was something that really bothered him. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to not lay those rumors to rest if that's something that you yourself had experienced. And, you know, they talk a lot about, you know, not following the same patterns, and it really doesn't make sense why they wouldn't just lay those sorts of rumors to rest. So I am with you guys on all of that. This is just kind of bringing to light some of the different options and positions here on the two different sides of the possible truths. So as they say, the truth usually lies somewhere in the middle, but in a case like this, it's either one or the other. For example, this comment I completely agree with. If there were rumors that I had worn moon bumps and used surrogates to give birth to my children, and the rumors were not true, I'd be very angry and provide proof to protect my children and put the rumors to rest. Having surrogacy as an option for building a family is a wonderful option, and she is making it appear shameful. Completely agree. And you know, I get some people don't like the ideas of surrogacy, but honestly, like I said, having babies is the hugest joy in life. And if there are people willing to participate in that process and facilitate surrogacy in any way, shape, or form, you know, I think that that's a good thing, generally speaking, as long as everybody involved is on the same page. And perhaps the birthing mother, the woman who is carrying the child, the surrogate, maybe like has a few years worth of being able to have a therapist paid for, or that would be an important thing. You know, I mean, I've been through it, and I just, coming from that perspective of somebody who has the knowledge of the experience and firsthand experience myself, then, you know, it does seem a bit odd, some of these things. Who knows? Maybe someday we'll all find out. I hope that helps clear up some of your guys' questions, and I hope that this little chat was fun to explore some of these different possibilities. Maybe we'll get to the bottom of it. Leave in the comments what side you're on. What do you guys believe? Do you believe it was a situation of surrogacy, moon bumps, and induced lactation? Or do you believe she carried the children and is just an exceptionally awkward woman? Let me know. Maybe I'll make a poll for it too, so be sure to subscribe so that you can participate in that. Have a happy day today, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!